Chasing the Falconers, Chapter 2. Dude, your house is on TV! With those 6 words in the school hall, the nightmare had begun. A group of students had gathered around the wall-mounted screen in the media center. The sound was muted, but Aiden could see it. His own front door. His first thought was idiotic. New paint job still looking good. Not, what's going on? Or, why is my house on CNN? The paint job. The camera pulled back, and he saw the police. More like an army. Scores of commandos in body armor surrounded the Falconer home, shields deployed, weapons pointed. A roadblock cut off their quiet street. Choppers circled overhead. What the? The rest was a blur. Exploding tear gas canisters, the battering ram reducing the door to toothpicks. His parents hustled out in handcuffs by an FBI agent the size of Shaquille O'Neal. And then the call over the PA. Would Aiden Falconer please come to the main office? Aiden Falconer. Like things were totally normal. Like they were going to tell him that Mom had forgotten to sign his field trip form. That was March 7th, the day the world ended, the day life changed forever for Aiden and Meg. The details came 21 hours later. At long last, they were allowed to see their parents in a windowless maximum security cell guarded by 2 soldiers armed with automatic rifles. The charge? Passing classified information to enemies of the state. Classified information? Aiden stared at his father. What would you be doing with classified information? You're a teacher at a college nobody's ever heard of, and you write detective novels. Bad detective novels, Meg added breathlessly. The Falconers told their story. Husband and wife professors, both respected criminologists. 3 years before, they had been approached by an old family friend who turned out to be an undercover CIA recruiter. Their country needed their expertise. Agent Frank Lindenauer told them in the global war on terror. For the next 18 months, the 2 professors worked for the government. They developed profiles for United States operatives to identify terrorist sleeper cells throughout the world. It was going beautifully, Lindenauer assured them. Thanks to the Falconers' work, the CIA had the foreign extremists on the run. And then everything fell apart. Somehow, the Falconer profiles had fallen into the hands of the terrorists themselves. Knowing what the Americans were looking for had surely helped them avoid capture. Now, the Department of Homeland Security accused the 2 criminologists of aiding the enemies of their country. The crime was treason. So, wailed Meg, just get Frank What's-His-Face to explain that you're the good guys. That was the problem. Agent Frank Lindenauer had disappeared off the face of the earth. For months, the Falconers and their lawyers tried to reach him, with no success. Worse, the CIA claimed it employed no such operative. He was the professor's only contact, the only person who could back up their story. During the trial, witness after witness detailed how the Falconers' work had become a training manual for sleeper agents. Captured extremists testified that the profiles were widely used in the terrorist world. Without their CIA handler, the Falconers had no way to defend themselves. It was over before it started, but the sentence was beyond their wildest nightmares. You are remanded to the custody of the Department of Corrections for a term of not less than the length of your natural lives. The gavel came down like a pistol shot. It was a moment that happened on television a dozen times a day, but the TV never showed the real story, the shattered lives, the ruined families. What happens to a son and daughter when 2 loving parents are suddenly shut away for good? At least the juvenile authorities got one thing right. They kept Aiden and Meg together. Mom and Dad weren't so lucky. The foster homes were a disaster. Accusations and fighting on the inside, and encampments of reporters on the lawn. Falconer wasn't a name anymore. It was a glowing neon sign. After a few false starts, the judge decided that the only option was to get these kids out of the spotlight. They had to disappear, taking their notorious pedigree with them. That's Sunnydale, Aiden thought bitterly, the place you go when you want to be nowhere. Gang members, purse snatchers, and car thieves made great camouflage. The TV was barely watchable, with faded color and a jumping picture. Yet, the boys of Sunnydale, it was Disney World. their only entertainment, besides bragging, threatening, and fighting. The two fuzzy channels were their sole connection to the world that lay beyond the endless fields. Nowhere was the pecking order more obvious than around the TV. At 6'4", Latrell Chambers was able to claim for himself the only halfway comfortable chair. It didn't hurt his reputation as a tough guy that he used to belong to an infamous Seattle gang. Miguel was right up there too, on a lumpy couch with a great viewing angle. Gary Donovan, armed robbery, had a beanbag chair that he defended with both fists. And so on down to Aiden, pretty close to rock bottom, obstructed view of a picture that was pretty obstructed to begin with. Only Seth Lowinger, computer hacker, had less status. He didn't watch TV at all. Aiden wondered what the atmosphere was like in the girls' lounge. Was his 11-year-old sister subjected to this kind of ugliness and intimidation? With Mom and Dad out of the game, Aiden had to stand up for Meg. But how could he do that when he could barely stand up for himself? A half-eaten pear came sailing through the air and knocked the old-fashioned rabbit ear antenna off the top of the set. Instantly, the picture dissolved into snow, and a howl went up from the spectators. Gary Donovan smacked Miguel on the back of the head. "What's the matter with you, Reyes? It took us weeks to get that stupid thing exactly right." Miguel tossed his wadded-up napkin at the blank screen. "For what, yo? To watch reruns of Touched by an Angel? When I get out of here, I'm going to go kick back with my brother in New Jersey. He's got like 700 channels, plasma screen, satellite dish, the works. That's for me." "Dream on," sneered Latrell. "They're never going to let you out of here, not till you turn 21 anyway." Aiden waited for the explosion and fistfight, but Miguel just laughed. "This cage can't hold me," he boasts. "I'm just chillin', that's all." There was a lot of hooting and jeering, and Miguel was pelted with apple cores and candy wrappers. Aiden spoke up. "You know a way out?" Miguel snorted in his face. "Look at the big escape artist. You don't have the guts to milk a cow, Edelink. You'd wet your pants before you hit the cornfield." "Shut up, Reyes," snorted Gary. "There's no way out, and you know it. Not unless you can walk 30 miles in a juvie jumpsuit without being seen." "That's why you guys are a bunch of felons," said Miguel. "No creativity. Look around you. You see a cage, I see wood and hay and papers. One match and this whole dump burns." Gary opened his eyes wide. "You want to torch the place and escape while the soups are manning the bucket brigade?" Latrell gave a disinterested yawn. "You're talking nonsense, man. You've got a rap sheet like the Encyclopedia Britannica. Slap an arson on there and they'll put you in the adult system no matter how old you are." Miguel shrugged. "Gotta catch me first." He waved at Aiden. "Hey, Eagle Dink, go fix the antenna and get it right this time." Aiden did as he was told, and he never took his eyes off Miguel. "You're kidding about that, right? The fire? That can't work, can it?" Miguel chuckled at his contempt. "What are you in for, Eagle? Spitting on the sidewalk? Jaywalking? I know everybody's cheating this place except you and your little sis. What did you do? Whack your parents or something?" Suddenly, there was nothing more important to Aiden than taking the antenna and ramming it down Miguel's throat. He was on the boy like a flying squirrel, almost screaming with rage. What happened next was shocking and lightning fast. Miguel shrugged him off as easily as he might have flicked away a crumb. The punches were airborne like missiles, compact, bony fists slamming into Aiden's cheek and chin. Aiden tasted blood and prepared himself to shed more. "I don't belong with these criminals," he thought with amazing detachment. "How can I ever hope to defend myself against them?" Latrell grabbed Miguel by the back of his collar and hauled him off Aiden. "Cut it out, fool! You want the soups on our necks!" Gary hauled Aiden to his feet, but his real concern was for the antenna, which was bent like a pretzel. "Ah, man, you broke it!" Somehow, the TV picture was now clearer than it had ever been. That, Aiden assumed, was the only reason why he was allowed to go on living. The incident did nothing to improve relations with Miguel. "You better watch your back, Edeldink," he promised grimly. "When you least expect it, this is the face that's going to be coming up behind you."